G'day everyone, welcome to Raelands Farm. We'll start here at the office. So this is the kind of like the hub that we use for all our planning and our daily meetings and just generally trying to keep on top of the day-to-day running of the farm. So we've got all our lean visual management boards here. So this is all the sort of critical information that we want. We've got things like milkers, chores, so our relief milkers, our casual milkers, daily chores. We've got our feed system, so we use feeding pastures for profit to manage our pastures. We've got things like improvements, daily improvements, pasture plans, all our SOPs to make sure milkers don't forget the jobs that need to be done. We've got our daily planner, quality, productivity, safety, all visual, all easy to see. Our rostering board, computers, kids, colouring, essential. We're still using old-fashioned cow wheel. It's really effective, very simple. We've got our dairy spares down here, so they're all organised, they're all ready to go. Our AI kit, we come through the dairy now. We've got our SOPs for how to set up the dairy at the start of the milking. We've got the same one at the front of the vat for the tanker driver. We come through here, we've got our SOPs here, how to use different things on the farm. The wash SOPs, pretty simple little dairy. Tea spray SOPs, so everything's labelled, everything's marked. We've got our dairy tool board, so everything here is blue, and blue belongs in the dairy. So it's all set up, ready to go. I've got the scissors, I'm using them at the moment. Come through, this simple little dairy here, not much to it really. Yeah, so that's a bit of an overview on what our dairy office looks like and some of our lean management tools. The main sort of takeaway from lean is really value, building value by continuous improvement and reducing waste. So check out the 8 wastes on Google. Really critical to understand the 8 wastes to try to build a more efficient business. So next thing is we're going to take an aerial look at the farm and enjoy. So here we have the alluvial river flats on the farm. So they're a loamy river flat. We've got pecan tree shade trees on the left. So we've got both sides of the shade trees. We've got this alluvium. And we've got permanent pastures down here. So lucerne, a couple of different grass types, clover, chicory. Above the road, we've got heavier clays. So we've got our kaiku, subtropical grass, as a base. And then we intersow ryegrass in there and top up our chicory, and then our clovers in there in autumn too if we need to top up clovers. So we've got a bit of pasture mix there. Always try and have a grass, a legume and a herb, and we soil test this every 3 years and use any emollients like lime to correct acid or calcium magnesium ratio. Yeah, so we're using balanced fertilisers on this country too, so blended fertilisers to match what we're taking off. Here we've got the milking herd cell grazing under that feeding pastures for profit system. We've got a bit of an example of our tree lots that run along any gullies or waterways on the farm to increase biodiversity, carbon sequestration and also water quality through the farm. Here's the milking herd, mostly Holstein Friesian cows, AI'd using sex semen and genomics, and some Aussie Reds there as well. Around that 580, 600 kilo live weight, trying to get a good balance of milk and components. Here we've got our ryegrass, chicory and clover mix. So here we've got our genuine surplus being cut for silage, so round bale silage. We either feed it to the heifers or we make it into silage. Next to a tree lot here again, just a bit of an example of what we're doing with trees next to pastures. And this is contractors coming in to do this. We will purchase wheat and hay or lucerne hay to feed the cows if we don't make enough silage. So here's a really cool project we did this year with 2 school groups, a local community planting group, and the local council. So the council provided the trees, tree guards, and the staff to bore the holes, and we did the fencing and any weed control and follow-up maintenance. So a really fun project to do. Here's one we did with the same group a couple of years before, so a really nice mix of native trees, and we've got heaps of bird life already in there, so really cool stuff. Coming up now towards our 24 kilowatt solar system. So we made this shed out of secondhand steel and had installed solar panels, and that offsets the dairy, shed, workshop and effluent system energy. Right here we've got another small solar system which offsets our submersible river pump. So this is a beautiful freshwater river, and then it pumps up to this header tank, 250,000 litre header tank on the left, and that gravity feeds throughout the farm, so to water troughs and to the dairy and house and stuff. There's some tedder raking going on here. Okay, here's an overview of the dairy yard system. So we've got a flood wash system on the right here, which floods all the wastewater, obviously, off into the solids trap at the end of the yard. That's a passive system, so it's just gravity. So it flows into there, then collects the solids, runs through a screen or sort of a mesh system, and then we empty it out every 6 weeks with the tractor bucket into the bunker on the right. And the rest of the liquid flows down in the first pond here, catches any other solids, which then flows into the second pond. That water is then pumped out onto our furthest pastures. So we've got a 22 kilowatt electric effluent pump here, which will pump out to the furthest pastures to improve those sort of hillier clay soils. And that energy is offset by the solar system because it's run through the day in fine weather. More tree planting up ahead. The bigger trees were planted about 35 years ago, and they're Sydney blue gums, as well as a few other different species. Here's the the effluent irrigation. So just a simple 75mm drag line and a travelling irrigator. Here's our runoff block, so the back of the farm, kaikiu and ryegrass in here. And then there's another 60 to 70 hectares of native forest, which is quite pristine. We've dedicated that as a biodiversity conservation stewardship site, which essentially means that we've generated saleable biodiversity credits through our government system. And we'll be able to sell them to whoever we like, but also anyone doing commercial clearing for commercial developments must offset their clearing, so we can sell it to them too. So that's our aim in the next 6 to 12 months, is to get those biodiversity credits sold and to improve the quality of this native vegetation. So that's about it. Thank you for listening.